everyone. We've recently updated our case communication layout. So this video is just to walk you through how it looks now and hopefully answer any questions you might have so that you feel really confident as you set up communications moving forward. So I have a test case up here on my screen, and I'm just going to walk you through each of the different types of communications and how to set them up. So the key difference between how our communications used to be set up on Enrollify and how they are now is that every communication type is segmented. So rather than text and email being sent as one communication together, they're now separated out. And in fact, we've actually divided the text as well into two different types of messages: SMS messages and MMS messages. So let's get into case communications. To start, you will be clicking the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner. And the first thing you'll be doing is typing the name of the communication. In this case, I'm going to show you how to set up an email first. So we'll go with email test and create, and then you will see that communication now listed in the communication schedule. Click into your communication name, and you will see up here at the top the different message types. As I mentioned previously, we've now broken it out into SMS, email, voice message, and MMS. First things first, you'll see the communication name that you filled out is listed at the top. If you would like to change the subject line of your email, go ahead and do that here. And then it's up to you whether you'd like to use your own message or you can use one of our templates. Just as in the past, if you would like to include a password in this communication, the way to do that is to include the word password in brackets like it is at the very end of this message. So the key here is that the P in password needs to be capitalized and password needs to be in brackets. And that's what will pull whatever is in the universal password field into this section of text. So you have two different options. You can either leave the universal password field blank, and what that will do is it will generate a unique password for every user that receives this message, or you can put in whatever you would like the password to be for all users on this case. Once you finish with the top section, be sure to scroll down to continue filling out the rest of the fields. Go ahead and select who you would like this message to be sent to. You may notice that there are more options now for who this message can be sent to. We have now divided the employee population into everyone, those who have not scheduled an appointment, those who have scheduled an appointment but have not been seen for their appointment yet, those who have already been seen, and those who no-showed to their appointment. So our hope is that this further segmentation of the employee population allows you to send really direct messaging campaigns to the audience that you would like to connect with. You can also send a message to your benefit gurus if you would like to do so. If you want to schedule this communication to send at a certain day and time, go ahead and select a date and select a time. Finally, if you'd like, you can send this message as a test. To do so, click Send Test Message, type in the first and last name of the recipient, as well as their email address. When you send that test message, it will automatically save your communication and bring you back to the communication schedule page. The individual you sent the message to, whether yourself or someone else, will now have received that email so that they can make sure that it looks how you would like it to prior to sending it on to all of the employees. If you chose not to schedule your communication to send at a certain time, simply use the paper airplane button to push the communication whenever you would like to. Next, we will set up an SMS text message. Again, this is the same process. Click the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner, type the name of the communication and create, and then click back into that communication. So as you can see, the communication defaults to email every time. But in this case, since we will be sending an SMS message, we just select the dial for SMS, and you'll see that the layout of the screen has changed. Another one of our new features is the mock-up phone on the right-hand side of the screen. This is just to give you an idea of what this message will look like when the user receives it. This allows you to create the most aesthetically pleasing message for someone who's going to be receiving it on a cell phone. You'll notice that there's a character limit to the SMS text messages. All of our templated communications are within the 290 character limit, but if you need to send a message that's more than 290 characters, sending a multimedia message is going to be your best option. We'll go over how to do that next. In the meantime, I'm going to select one of our templated messages. And again, I will put in a password in the universal password field. This works just like it does for the email. To send a password, you need to have the word password with a capital P in brackets. And we will pull in either whatever password you put in the universal password field or an auto-generated password for each individual. Again, much like when you set up an email message, you will need to fill out who you would like your recipients to be, as well as setting up a date and time for this communication to send if you want to schedule it to send. Also, similar to the email message, you can send a test message to whomever you would like using the Send Test Message button and typing in the phone number of whomever you would like to receive this test message. Once again, it will give you a successful message in the lower right-hand corner and then save and close your communication. Next, let's move on to MMS. Again, click the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner, type in the name of the communication, then click in the communication to make changes. This time we'll select multimedia messaging as our message type. And the first thing you'll probably notice is that there is a media file uploaded. MMS messages need to have some sort of media attached to them in order to send as a multimedia message. So whatever you have uploaded as the logo of your case will be uploaded here if you are using an MMS message. If you would like to change this multimedia to be something else, you are welcome to do so using the Upload Media button, and you can pull any piece of media from your computer that falls within these parameters listed in red on the screen. Much like the other types of communications we just set up, you can either select a template or fill out the message field on your own. You'll notice that the MMS messages have a much higher character limit. You can have as many as 1,000 characters in this message. So again, if you need to send a longer communication via text, you have that option here. And you'll also notice again on the right-hand side of the screen, this gives you an idea of what this message will look like when it's received by the end user. In this case, this message also contains the password. As you'll see here, it's in brackets with a capital P. If you want to have a universal password for all users, you will put it here. Now that text and email are separate communications, you may be wondering how it will work with sending passwords. There's a few key things to remember. If you are going to be sending passwords via multiple message types, let's say by both an MMS text and an email, you need to make sure that whatever you put in the universal password field matches exactly on both communication types so that there's no confusion when the employee receives the message. We've set it up so that if you are sending a message to employees via both text and email, if they get one of them first and change their password, we will stop the second message from sending to them. And the reason we do that is because if they got that second message with the universal password or the unique password that you set up for them, it would change their password back to whatever you set up rather than the password they set up themselves. Secondly, if you are not going to use a universal password and you are just going to leave this field blank and allow the system to create an auto-generated password, every employee is assigned a certain unique password, and that will be the same when they receive it via SMS, via email, or via MMS. So there's no need to be concerned that they may get two messages with two different passwords. So we've put in safeguards so that employees will not be confused. They won't get messages with a password after they've already set up their own password. And even if you're sending them an auto-generated password, we'll make sure that they get the same one every time. Again, just like the other communications, the last few steps are to ensure that you select your audience, whether that's a group of employees or the gurus on your case, and then to set a send date and time if you would like. And once again, you can also send a test message with this communication type so that the recipient can ensure that the message sends correctly, that the password works, that they can log in and find appointments, etc. And it will save that communication and drop you back into the communication schedule. Finally, we will go ahead and set up a voice message communication. Again, clicking the plus sign, setting up the communication name, which is just for your reference, and clicking into the communication. We'll select voice message. So you have a couple of options when it comes to sending a voice message request. Option number 1 is what you'll see here. And this is the option to send a recording request to someone at the company, ideally someone who is in the C-suite or in HR, someone who employees are familiar with, and ask them to record the audio for this voice message. So the way to do that is to send them an email. So you'll put in their email address, their phone number, their name, and then you can edit the subject line of the message. And then the message field is going to be the body of the email. Explain to them that below they'll see a script and that you're asking them to click the link and record the message. Once you have set up that message that will be sent to them via email, you can either create your own script or use one of our script templates. And then once you have this all set up, you can hit send and they will receive it. You have 2 other options as well. If you don't have someone from the company who has agreed to record the audio, you have a few other options. If there's someone who is willing to record the audio, but they don't want to go through the process of getting the link from Enrollify, they can simply send you an MP3 audio file for you to upload. That can be recorded on almost any device, whether it be a phone or a desktop, and then you can upload it here. So that's option number 2. If you're going to be the one recording the audio, option 3 might be easiest for you, and this is the option to just record the audio yourself. So you simply click the microphone button to start recording, the stop button to stop, and then that automatically captures your recording here in this communication and saves it. Those are your 3 options as far as how to obtain the actual audio recording. You can either send the request to someone at the company you're working with, you can upload audio, whether that's from yourself or someone else, or you can go ahead and record the audio right here in the app using option 3. And then again, just like the other communications, you're selecting your audience, who this message is going to, and scheduling a send date and time if you would like, if you're not going to be pushing it manually. And then finally, again, we have the test message option. So you can go ahead and put whatever phone number here, whomever you would like to send it to, and they will receive that phone call as soon as you hit send. I do recommend that you send one message that you pick up and answer immediately and listen to the voice message play. And I also recommend that you let one message go to voicemail and make sure that it sounds good on voicemail as well. Sometimes if it's too long, a voicemail system will cut it off. So I just always recommend, better safe than sorry, to go ahead and check on that. And then the final piece of all these communications is the send statistics. So you can click into this bar graph and see whether or not the message delivered. So in this case, all 6 messages delivered. So you can click in and see whom all received the message. And if there was anyone who didn't receive the message, it would have a failed bar here so that you could click in and identify who received the message and who did not. Now, if you have existing cases with communications that were set up prior to this most recent update in July of 2021, then you may want to go in and make a few tweaks to those messages as they have been changed slightly with this update. So I'm now in a live case that has existing communications existed prior to this update. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when you click into one of those communications. So if we take a look at the communication titled 5.1, you'll see that it was created back in April of this year. So I will click in, and at first you won't see your actual message content, but don't worry, it still exists. You just need to select the message type that you want to create it in. So in this case, this was previously a text and email message. So I'm going to go ahead and convert it to an email. And this way you'll see immediately all of the text from the body of the message is retrieved. And now I can save this message in the new communication format. If you have any questions, concerns with this new update, especially if you had existing communications, or even if you need assistance with how to set up a new communication with this new updated version, feel free to reach out to us. You can reach us at support@myenrollify.com, and we'll be happy to assist you and get you comfortable with this new communication setup. And that is it for our new communication type. Thanks so much for your time. Have a great day.